Welcome back to Bookkast, where we bring you bestsellers in minutes.
Bestsellers in minutes, that's right.
And today, we are going to be taking a deep dive into The Housemaid's Secret
By Freida McFadden.
by Freida McFadden,
Mm-hmm.
a psychological thriller.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to be, kind of unpacking all the juicy twists and turns, but,
Yeah.
In a way that respects your time.
Yeah, you're going to meet Millie, who is the housemaid. And right away, you get the sense that she's got some baggage.
Yeah.
She's got a prison record
Right.
for a crime that she claims was self-defense.
Right away, that makes you wonder, what happened back then? Is
Yeah.
it going to come back to haunt her?
Exactly.
All those good things. So, that's a really interesting sort of layer to her character, especially when you find out, she's working for this super wealthy couple, the Garricks,
Yes.
and their life is, practically dripping with luxury,
Uh-huh.
which is such a stark contrast to Millie's kind of, modest existence.
Yes, and that contrast is really important.
Yeah.
Because it shows the power dynamic.
Yeah.
You see that in the way that Douglas, the husband, treats Millie.
Yes.
All those specific instructions,
Uh-huh.
the constant monitoring.
The monitoring.
It's almost as if he's trying to control her every move.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, and then there's Wendy, the wife, who's this total enigma,
Right.
never leaves her, guest bedroom.
Right.
It makes you wonder, is she sick?
Mm-hmm.
Is she a prisoner in her own home?
Right. And Freida McFadden does a fantastic job of building this suspense around Wendy's situation.
Yeah.
She drops these little hints
Yeah.
that something's not right.
Yes.
There's a bloody handprint that Millie finds.
Uh-huh.
The trail of blood leading to Wendy's room.
Yeah.
It all points to something sinister.
Yes, going on behind closed doors.
Yes.
It's like she's slowly uncovering this dark secret. And you're, as the reader, you're right there with her. You're piecing together the clues. What I found really interesting is that, Millie's past, her time in prison, it makes her hesitant to get involved.
Right.
She's seen the dark side of human nature.
Yeah.
And she's kind of afraid of making the wrong move.
Yeah, exactly. She's been betrayed before.
Right.
She doesn't want to be a fool again.
Yeah.
But there's also this really strong sense of justice in her,
Right.
this need to help someone in need.
Yeah.
So when Wendy reveals her fears about Douglas, Millie's torn.
Yeah. She's caught between her desire to help and her fear of getting pulled into something dangerous. And let me tell you, things get pretty intense when Millie decides to help Wendy escape.
It's a risky move, and it sets off this chain of events that will change Millie's life forever.
Right.
They come up with this elaborate plan, renting a car, sneaking out in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
driving all the way to Albany to meet Wendy's friend Fiona. It's like you're watching a thriller unfold in front of you.
Yeah, it's like the tension just keeps building.
Right.
As, Millie starts to suspect she's being followed,
Yeah.
maybe by Douglas,
Mm-hmm.
and then bam, the unthinkable happens. Douglas is murdered.
And of course, all signs point to Millie. She's the last one to see him alive.
Right.
She has this history of violence.
Right.
It's the perfect setup for a frame job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But here's where McFadden throws a twist
Okay.
that just flips the script. Remember that scene where Millie thought she saw Douglas outside her apartment?
Yeah. Super creepy.
Well, it turns out that wasn't actually Douglas.
Oh.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? We start to realize that the Garricks, they're not who they seem to be.
Right.
That Manhattan penthouse, all the wealth, sophistication, it's just a facade.
Yeah.
They've got this whole other life, a house on Long Island, and their true identity is shrouded in mystery.
It's like those Russian nesting dolls, Every time you think you've got to the bottom of it,
Exactly.
you find another layer.
Exactly. And that's what makes this book so engrossing, right? You're constantly questioning everything you thought you knew.
Right.
But to get to the bottom of it all, we need to bring in another key player, Millie's ex, Enzo.
Oh, Enzo.
Yes.
I was wondering when he was going to show up again. They had this whole, complicated history, but then he just kind of vanished.
His reappearance is no coincidence, trust me. Remember, Enzo was a bodyguard.
Yeah.
He specialized in helping women escape abusive relationships. So he's got this skill set that makes him the perfect person to help Millie unravel this mess.
So Enzo starts digging into the real Douglas Garrick, right?
Yes.
What does he uncover?
Okay, so picture this. The real Douglas was nothing like the polished, sophisticated man Millie met in that tent house.
Okay.
Overweight, obsessed with fast food, and deeply unhappy in his marriage.
Okay, so Wendy wasn't exaggerating about her marital problems then.
Yo.
But why all the secrecy? Why stage this elaborate escape?
That's where Wendy's true nature, like, really starts to reveal itself. Remember that woman Millie ran into earlier in the book, Audrey?
Mm-hmm.
The one who mentioned a housemaid helping women escape from dangerous situations.
You're kidding? Was that all part of Wendy's plan?
Absolutely. She was playing the victim all along, manipulating Millie's empathy to get her involved in this twisted scheme.
Wow.
And as Enzo digs deeper, he uncovers a shocking truth. Wendy's been having an affair with a man named Russell,
Okay.
who bears a striking resemblance to the fake Douglas.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that the man Millie thought she shot was actually Wendy's lover?
Bingo!
Hmm.
Wendy orchestrated the whole thing, even going so far as to convince Russell to pretend to attack her so Millie would shoot him in self-defense.
Wow.
But that's not even the worst part.
It gets worse. How is that even possible?
Okay, so Wendy couldn't have children,
Okay.
a fact that she kept hidden from Douglas, and there was this ironclad prenuptial agreement that stipulated if she was unfaithful, she wouldn't get a dime in a divorce.
So she had to get rid of Douglas and make it look like someone else did it to inherit his fortune. This woman is ice cold.
But there's one more layer to this onion.
Oh, gosh.
Remember how Millie didn't actually see any blood when she shot fake Douglas?
Yeah.
That's because he was already dead.
What? Who killed him? Don't tell me Wendy shot her own lover.
It's even more twisted than that. Wendy had already poisoned the real Douglas
What?
with digoxin, making his death appear natural.
Wow.
Then she used Russell, her lover, who looked just like Douglas, to set up this whole, like, fake attack scenario.
This is mind-blowing. So Millie didn't kill anyone. She was just a pawn in Wendy's game.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And to make matters even more complicated, Russell was having second thoughts about the whole plan,
Mm-hmm.
especially the part about getting shot. He was getting cold feet, but Wendy, being the ruthless mastermind she is, wasn't about to let anything jeopardize her plan.
So what happened? Did she kill him herself?
She manipulated him into playing along, convincing him that Millie would only graze him, making it look like a real struggle.
Uh-huh.
But once Millie left, Wendy finished the job, shooting Russell for real.
I can't believe how deeply she was playing everyone. But how did the truth finally come out? How did Millie get cleared of all these charges?
It's all thanks to Enzo and a little bit of luck.
Okay.
Enzo's investigation led him to Russell's wife, Mary Beth.
Okay.
Now, Mary Beth had been suspicious of her husband's affair with Wendy and had been following them. She arrived at the cabin after Millie had left,
Okay.
but she pieced together what happened and confronted Wendy.
Did Mary Beth call the police? Turn Wendy in?
Mary Beth wanted more than just justice. She wanted revenge.
Okay.
She forced Wendy to write a full confession detailing the entire plot, including how she poisoned Douglas.
So both Wendy and the man pretending to be Douglas are dead. Millie is free thanks to that security camera footage and Wendy's confession.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. What a wild ride.
But it's not over yet. There's one final twist that really makes you think.
Okay, so my head is spinning.
Yeah.
Wendy gets what she deserves, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Another life is lost, and Millie's left kind of picking up the pieces. I mean, how do you even begin to process something like that?
Well, what's fascinating here is that, Mary Beth, the grieving wife, she becomes this dispenser of justice, right?
Right.
She doesn't just want Wendy caught. She wants her to suffer the same fate as Douglas.
Right.
It's this twisted form of poetic justice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical, happy ending. It makes you think about those, gray areas of morality, the length people will go to for revenge.
Yeah.
But what about Millie? Where does she go from here?
Well, remember that last scene
Yeah.
where Millie takes Enzo's car and just drives off? She doesn't even tell him where she's going.
Right. I was wondering about that. She just takes out. Do you think she's running away from him?
I don't think it's that simple. Remember, Millie has been through a lot. She's been manipulated. She's been betrayed, nearly framed for murder.
Right.
I think taking Enzo's car is her way of reclaiming some control, of asserting her independence.
Oh, okay.
She needs to figure things out on her own terms.
So it's not about Enzo. It's about her finding herself again
Exactly.
after this whole ordeal.
Yeah, she's been living in this world of secrets and lies, and now she needs to kind of rediscover who she is, what she wants. It's like she's shedding her old skin,
Yeah.
leaving behind the trauma of the past.
Right. This really makes you think about, the lasting impact of trauma,
Yeah.
how it can shape our decisions, our relationships. But she does love Enzo, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, they had that like, really heartfelt conversation before she left.
There's definitely a deep connection between them.
Yeah.
This shared understanding that goes beyond words.
Yeah.
But Millie is still carrying a lot of baggage, her past, her secrets. She might be afraid of letting anyone in too close, afraid of being hurt again.
It's like she's pushing him away to protect herself, even though it hurts them both.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway here? What is the housemaid's secret really trying to tell us?
I think it's a cautionary tale about trust and perception, right? It reminds us that things are not always what they seem.
Yeah.
And even the most well-intentioned people can be manipulated. But it's also a story about resilience, about finding the strength to overcome adversity and reclaim your life. You know, Millie's journey, as messy and complicated as it is, it offers this glimmer of hope. It shows us that even in the darkest of times, there's always a chance for redemption.
Yeah.
For a new beginning.
Wow, that's powerful. So for our listeners out there who love a good thriller with a psychological twist, The Housemaid's Secret is definitely worth checking out. And remember, you just devoured a whole bestseller in minutes thanks to Bookkast. Until next time, happy reading.